When I moved to Sussex, the greatest advantage I had there was that John Snow was there.
We were playing somewhere up country, I think, and Majid Khan came up to me and said, do you notice the way that Imran runs to the boundary? He runs differently to the way he runs up the bowl. And I said, yeah, that's true. And why do you think that was? And considering it a bit, it looked as though it was obvious that when he put his marker down, he put it down about 10 paces behind the wicket or something, and then just did another 30 paces, and then tried to hit the mark on his run in. And of course, running from that distance, he couldn't do it, and therefore his run up was very broken. And he only really improved, and there was a dramatic improvement once he got that sorted out.
Done. Beautiful bowled.
Like all great fast bowlers, Imran, every time you saw him, each tour that you saw him, he had something different in his armoury. He'd learnt a new delivery, and that's the sign of a fine fast bowler. Every time you play against him, he comes up with something new. The other thing that I knew about Imran from playing against him was that he had terrific fighting spirit. I remember playing against him at VFL Park in Melbourne, one of the early games under lights, and Imran came in and he bowled me a bouncer, and I pulled it away for 4. And as I ran down, I said to him, that's what happens to short pitch rubbish. And Imran just turned and he looked at me and he said, we'll see about that. And he went back, and the next one went flying straight past my ear. A pretty useful shot to deliver.
The thing that's been most impressive about him in the years I've watched him is that in-shoot he's developed. And he can do it with the old ball as well. It's a matter of keeping the seam in the right position so that it doesn't scramble on the way down the pitch towards the batsman, and that the air can work on the side of the ball. And he keeps that seam perfectly aligned all the time.
I'll definitely give credit to Imran that he's the one who taught Marshall, Fakar, Yunus and Asif Javed how to swing the ball.
There have been innuendos that the Pakistani pace bowlers have been doctoring the ball or cheating. In fact, Pakistani bowlers have to learn to swing the ball, otherwise they cannot survive in cricket. In Pakistan, the ball gets rough very quickly, and as a result, we learn very early in our careers to swing the old ball.
Moody gets an edge, and that's the first wicket down. That's what Pakistan needed.
There's got to be more skill than just scratching the ball or spitting on it or putting sweat on it. There must be something in the wrist, and I just think that they've got great skill, wonderful skill to swing the ball at pace.
The two outstanding batsmen of my career were Vivian Richards and Sunil Gavaskar. Vivian Richards because I felt he was by far the most talented batsman I'd ever bowled to. He was exceptionally gifted. He had the best reflexes and the most formidable batsman, the most aggressive batsman. We had a series where at one stage we kept staring at each other, and maybe I knew at the time, that he was an individual, who had a lot of confidence in himself, and I was also possessing the same sort of thing, and I thought at that stage I would give it a draw, and that's one of the best incidents that I can remember, that we just kept staring at each other, like basically two fighters, who would be placed in a particular ring, and the only thing, that was missing at that particular time was the punches. And Sunil Gavaskar, his greatness was the best defense. Excellent management of his innings. You could see he is, and certainly as a batsman, was an exceptionally intelligent man who organized his innings all the time, who read the wickets, the conditions, the bowlers, and really in their own ways both were brilliant.
I realized it was my job to see him off because he was the most dangerous bowler from, as far as we were concerned, from the opposition. And it was therefore my job to wear him out. I wasn't an attacking batsman. I was mainly a person who could wear, in test matches, a bowler down. So it was my job. And I knew that it was his job to try and get me out because I believe that the Pakistan team perceived me as a stumbling block to their aspirations of running through the side.
One's got to look, at Imran's record. And obviously, the wickets, that he's played on throughout his career in Pakistan. And any man who got to work so hard, most certainly, in my mind, would be top of the tree. My shin injury in 1983 was, I again say, as my involvement as a person, was probably the greatest blessing in disguise, because it taught me a lot about life. I was completely at my peak in 1982 when I sustained this injury. And suddenly from that height, I came down, and really it was very hard to take and to reconcile, and then the way attitudes changed towards me, because until then I had never realized, how quickly people change and how temporary, how transitory fame was. So the result was that, the board was very hostile. The press suddenly wrote a few things about me, because I did take on the press when I was the captain. I didn't allow them in the dressing room, which they were used to. I didn't sort of give them special treatment. And really they waited, and they found that the perfect opportunity to stab me in the back when I couldn't fight back. But it was basically a very down period in my life, because while I was recovering, my mother fell ill, and she had cancer and eventually died of it.
It was rather like he locked himself away in a dark little flat in the afternoons and didn't come out, and I didn't think he was terribly interested in the cricket at that time. He didn't really want to see it, get involved with it. So I think it was very, very difficult for him. And I think a lot of people were saying he wouldn't pull through. I mean, the press always tend to say these sort of things, and I think there were a lot of people saying that he wouldn't recover.